The text came through at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I stared at the screen, my son sleeping 2 rooms away, and felt my stomach drop. Accidents happen to kids. Busy streets near schools. You should really reconsider my offer. It was the fourth message that week, each one slightly more pointed than the last. My brother wanted the dealership, had wanted it since Dad died, and left it to me 18 months ago. The business Dad and I had built together over 12 years while my brother was finding himself in Colorado, then Miami, then somewhere in Arizona doing God knows what. Now he was back, broke apparently, and convinced the dealership should be his. I deleted the text and checked the lock on my son's bedroom door anyway. The first time I saw my brother near Tyler's school, I thought it was coincidence. I was running late for pickup, caught in traffic on Route 9, when I spotted his silver Lexus parked across from Lincoln Elementary. He was sitting in the driver's seat, window down, watching the dismissal line. My phone rang. Him, just happened to be in the neighborhood, he said when I answered. Thought I'd see my nephew. You never bring him around anymore. You're 30 minutes from your apartment, David. Can't an uncle visit? I hung up and pulled into the pickup lane. Tyler bounced into the back seat, chattering about his science project. I watched David's car in my rearview mirror until we turned onto Maple Street. That night at Mom's house for dinner, I mentioned it. You're being paranoid, my sister Lauren said immediately. David loves Tyler. He was just sitting there, watching. Oh, for God's sake. Mom set down her fork. Your brother is trying to reconnect with family and you're making him sound like some criminal. He wants me to sell him the dealership for half its value. Maybe you should consider it, Dad's brother Frank said from the end of the table. Keep it in the family properly. David's got ideas. Fresh perspective. I looked at Tyler picking at his mashed potatoes, oblivious. The dealership isn't for sale. The second appearance was 3 days later. School pickup again. But this time David was out of his car leaning against the fence, phone in hand, taking pictures of the building, the bus loop, the crossing guard. I called him that night. What are you doing at Tyler's school? Public property, Sarah. I can be wherever I want. Stay away from my son. Our family, you mean? He's my nephew. Maybe if you weren't so busy playing CEO, you'd have time to bring him to family events. He hung up before I could respond. Lauren called me an hour later. Mom said you're harassing David now. What's your problem? He's showing up at Tyler's school, repeatedly. So, he probably has errands in that area. Taking pictures of the building. You're being dramatic. Maybe he's looking at the architecture. David's always been interested in. I stopped listening. The next morning, I called Marcus Thompson. We'd gone to high school together. He'd joined the FBI after college. Spent 15 years in the Philadelphia field office working organized crime, and retired early when his wife got sick. Now he ran corporate security consulting. And 3 months ago, I'd hired him to upgrade the dealership's security system after we'd had 2 attempted break-ins targeting the high-end inventory. I need a different kind of help, I told him. I explained everything. The sale pressure. The texts. The school appearances. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. How old's your son? 7. And your brother's showing up at dismissal. Taking pictures. Twice this week that I know of. That I know of, Marcus repeated. Sarah, I need you to forward me every text. Every email. Every voicemail. And I need you to not tell anyone, and I mean anyone in your family, that we're having this conversation. You think I'm overreacting too. I think your brother is establishing a pattern. And I think you're right to document it before it escalates. Marcus had a team in place within 24 hours. Nothing obvious. No black SUVs or men in sunglasses. Just different cars in the school pickup rotation. A parent with a stroller who walked the same route every afternoon. Someone who happened to jog past David's apartment building each morning. We're just observing, Marcus told me during our first briefing at the dealership after hours. If he's doing what you think he's doing, we'll have proof. If he's not, you'll have peace of mind. And if my family finds out, they won't. Unless you tell them. I didn't. Over the next 3 weeks, David showed up at Lincoln Elementary 9 more times. The texts continued. Some nights I'd wake up to messages sent at 2 a.m. Tyler's getting so big. Hate to see anything happen to such a sweet kid. Buses have terrible safety records. Did you know that? Still waiting on your answer about the dealership. Time's running out. Family dinners became interrogations. You look exhausted, Mom said. Are you sleeping? Fine. She's stressed because she won't listen to reason, David said, helping himself to more pot roast. Running that dealership is too much for her. Dad left it to me. Dad didn't know what he was doing at the end. Everyone knows that. Lauren nodded. Frank nodded. Mom looked away. Only my younger brother Kevin stayed quiet. Later, as we were leaving, he grabbed my arm. Is David bothering you? I almost told him. Almost, it's fine. Just business stress. He didn't look convinced, but he let it go. The breaking point came on a Thursday. Marcus called at 2:15 p.m. His voice tight. Where's Tyler right now? School. Why? David's been parked across the street for 40 minutes. He's got a notebook. He's writing down bus numbers. My hands went cold. What? He photographed the route map on the school's exterior bulletin board. Sarah, he's not just watching anymore. He's planning something. Planning what? I don't know, but we've got 3 weeks of documentation. 47 separate incidents. GPS tracking shows he's been to the school, your house, and the dealership in rotating patterns. He's following Tyler's bus route. This is stalking behavior with intent. Intent to do what? That's what we need to find out before he does it. I told David we needed to meet. Saturday morning, the dealership. Finally seeing sense, he said, just come alone. Q showed up at 10 with Mom, Lauren, and Frank. We're here to support David, Mom announced. This family business belongs to all of us. They settled around the conference table. David pulled out a folder, purchase agreement, already drafted, with numbers that would have left me with barely enough to cover Dad's remaining medical debt. You'll still get something, he said, magnanimously, and you can stop working yourself to death. I'm not selling. Sarah, be reasonable. The conference room door opened. Marcus walked in, laptop under his arm. He was wearing a suit, his FBI credentials still clipped to his belt from old habit. Who the hell is this? David stood up. Marcus Thompson, Director of Security Operations. I need everyone to stay seated. He opened the laptop, connected it to the conference room screen. What is this? Mom demanded. Evidence presentation, Marcus said calmly. Mrs. Morrison, you should especially pay attention. The screen lit up. Surveillance operation. Subject David Morrison. Duration 21 days. Incident count 2. 47. David's face drained of color. Marcus clicked to the next slide. Text message screenshots. Every single one. Time stamped. Highlighted. Accidents happen to kids. Buses have terrible safety records. Time's running out. These are out of context. David said, his voice rising. I was just. Marcus clicked again. Photographs, David's car at Lincoln Elementary. 2. 47. Time-stamped images. Different days, different times. Always the same location. Oh my God, Lauren whispered. Another click. Video footage. David photographing the school building. David talking to other parents at the bus stop. David writing down bus numbers in his notebook. You were spying on me? David exploded. This is illegal. This is public spaces. Marcus said evenly. Everything documented here was visible from public property, just like you claimed. Final slide. A map. GPS coordinates. Red dots showing David's movements over 3 weeks. Clusters around the school. My house. The dealership. And one new location. The bus maintenance yard. When were you going to tell me about the maintenance yard? I asked quietly. David's jaw clenched. I don't know what you're talking about. Wednesday afternoon. 2. Spent 90 minutes at the county school bus depot, talking to a mechanic. Marcus pulled out a printed photograph. This mechanic, who reported you to his supervisor for asking which buses served Lincoln Elementary and whether anyone checked brake lines regularly. Mom made a sound like she'd been punched. I was just talking, David shouted. I didn't do anything. Yet, Marcus said. That's the relevant word. Yet. He closed the laptop. I've forwarded everything to Detective Lisa Warren, Family Crimes Unit, Philadelphia PD. She's reviewed Pennsylvania's stalking statutes. Mr. Morrison, you have. He checked his watch, about 8 minutes before patrol units arrive with a warrant. The room exploded. Mom crying, Lauren shouting at me, Frank demanding to see lawyers, David backing toward the door. Marcus moved to block it. Private property. You're not leaving until the police arrive. I just needed the money. David's voice cracked. I'm in trouble, Sarah. Real trouble.
Two.
The dealership was supposed to fix everything. By threatening my son. I wasn't going to hurt him. I would never pen. I just needed you scared enough to sell. The words hung in the air. Mom's crying stopped. Lauren went silent. Frank stared at his nephew like he'd never seen him before. You were going to sabotage a school bus. I said slowly. To terrify me into selling.
Two.
I was gathering information. Insurance. Leverage. I wasn't actually sirens. Outside. Marcus opened the door. 2 patrol cars. 4 officers. A woman in a detective's blazer. David Morrison, she asked. He didn't answer. She pulled out handcuffs. You're under arrest for stalking, terroristic threats, and attempted coercion. You have the right to remain silent. They led him out past the showroom floor, past the BMW he tried to test drive last month without asking, past Dad's photo on the wall, the one from the dealership's 20th anniversary. Mom followed, crying, saying she'd call lawyers. Lauren wouldn't look at me. Frank left without a word. Kevin showed up an hour later. He'd heard from Mom. Is it true? He asked. All of it. He sat down heavily. Jesus, Sarah. I knew he was desperate. But I need you to take Tyler for a few days, until the protective order hearing. Already packed his bag. He thinks it's a fun uncle sleepover. Thank you. After he left, Marcus started packing up the surveillance equipment. The DA's office wants to meet Monday, he said. They're considering additional charges. The bus depot conversation pushed it into attempted conspiracy territory. Will it stick? With this documentation? Absolutely. He paused. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Protecting your son, your business, yourself. I looked around the empty dealership. The business Dad and I built. The legacy David wanted to take. I know, I said. 5 days later, the protective order hearing took 11 minutes. 500 feet from Tyler, the school, my house, and the dealership. David's lawyer tried to argue harassment, but the judge reviewed the evidence summary and denied the motion without discussion. Bail was set at $50,000. Mom refused to pay it. Not until he gets help, she told me outside the courthouse. Real help. It was the first time she'd spoken to me since Saturday. I'm sorry I didn't believe you, she added quietly. I nodded. Tyler asked once about Uncle David. I told him Uncle David was sick and needed to stay away for a while. He accepted this easily, the way 7-year-olds do, and went back to his Lego. The dealership's October numbers came in strong. Best month in 18 months. My phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. DA adding charge. Criminal conspiracy to commit assault. Found notes in David's car during search. Detailed plans. Call me. I looked at Tyler building a spaceship at the kitchen table. Safe and oblivious. I picked up the phone.